Every shit out, every tear, every lie. Anybody wanna dance with me? Sipping on my rum in the corner still. We a groove to the morning break. Now we go banana in a sugar shake. Let's do it. Bring the bass up, make a blast a block. Select a gonna see this was a well-cooked rock. See me, I'm a beam, see me swing. Ting tong, see me like a tingling. I'm a twang, I'm ready till the problem's gone. Drop by the juice, make a goddamn strong. See me rocking now, going tribal style. Dance like a chicken, flap tiger wild. Flap tiger wild.
Too original for them party. Them frightened all through them saw me.
Come close and tell a secret, boy. Tip you like a dumpling in a cup of soy. Man, I we don't need to be rough, but I really can't stay now. Conking it up. Pop, 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 and I'm back to the heat. Loving it, living 128 feet. No shit. Enemy, your friend is not an option, no. We all the same, now we go dancing stars. Sing salabim, I'm on one. Beam, beam, salad, kicking dreadlock style. I'm the reflection from a disco ball. Mayhem, rumble till I drop and fall. Pop, 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 bumblebee. Sweaty, honey.
Too original for them party. Them frightened all through them saw me.
Reporting live, Compton, California, the good kid. I'm tired of doing it the same way, gotta flip it before I ruin it. Make it all make sense before you put your toe in it. Opinions get thrown out the window with rhyme brows, so turn me up loud so the world can hear. And when your favorite rapper rapping, you should cover your ears and go death. Go death, I said, go death to stay dead. A shot to the forehead to kill him. But I ain't here for no ignorance. I'm militant as Martin Luther King in a penalty. Aiming for my dream till a bullet bounce off one of my deep thoughts and hit a nigga in the spleen. I got it in my jeans. You probably think I'm talking about a pistol, but I'm talking about the blood of a warrior. My nigga, what you worry for? I ain't trying to jack your swag. I'm trying to better my craft and stay relevant. Yeah, as time flies, oh, that I'm sorry. Far from the boring, my God. Tell you why it's important. I'm not the boring, my God. If I think and act like you do, the world will die from not seeing something new. And if I don't speak on how I feel, the world will lose out on what's really real. And if I should die before I wake, I pray my music could take my place. The world.
And sending them to jail and doing nothing whatever to help them. Now I think it is time to blow the whistle. I think it is time to begin to deal with the power structure. We're not dealing with white people. It's not a matter of what white people think about you or even what they think about themselves. What one has to do is examine and overhaul the system the system which creates this and perpetuates it. It is very important parenthesis, I think, that I probably ought to make. One's got to point out, I think, that in this country, since the McCarthy era, and is one of the reasons for our absolutely spectacular impotence, anyone who mentioned the word economics was promptly given a ticket to Moscow. I think it is beneath me to say that I am not a communist. I think it's beneath the nation, and very dangerous for the nation, to raise this peculiar red herring the moment one begins to deal with things as they are. Now, the nation which admires the doctrine of nonviolence has never, in my experience, and never as far as I know in its history, which began, if you remember, in Europe, admired nonviolence before. One of the myths of the English is they would never be slaves. One of the reasons Gary Cooper was and Humphrey Bogart were such powerful movie stars is they always had a gun. It's only when a black man says that he might go out and find himself a gun that the country becomes Christian for the first and only time.
The relevant. I'd rather you call me that than the typical hardest you call whack on a YouTube blog holding 8 R's and stacks of ones, but never can be the one to rally communities or lead a crowd of blacks. Passion is too strong. I'm pissed off, so it's the chance you get pissed on. Or Kelly was in the wrong, but that'll make you an exempt. That'll make you a no-go from hitting the fence. You ain't the blood, a damn show. You ain't the crip, the crowd yell. But I ain't a pimp, I'm me, I'm free. It's a 5-finger discount. See you on the flip side, right after I dismount. If I ever feel like I ain't pushing myself, I find a cliff, then push myself off the edge like a barber at the tip of your head. That's how I settle it. Life or death if I ain't relevant. Nickel. As time flies, hope that I'm soaring, far from the boring, my God. Tell you why it's important. I'm not the boring, my God. If I think and act like you do, the world will die from not seeing something new. And if I don't speak on how I feel, the world will lose out on what's really real. And if I should die before I wake, I pray my music could take my place. The world, the relevant. So feel free to not mind me if you're used to boosters, drug dealers and shooters on wax. Cause most of y'all niggas fabricate facts anyway. I could easily cheat and let the 4-4 play like a 2-on-2 orgy, but I've been there and it bores me. Got to the point where it did nothing for me. At 40 I wanna afford not to record bullshit in my story. And I'm mad young, so I'd rather do it now before my career's done. This is pain plus glory. Victory is here. If I cry you can see strength and pride in my tears. I do it for the kids, I do it for the 23 Howard lockdowns doing time in the pen, and my pen is the only thing I got for hip-hop to change the game. If they'll remember my name as the relevant. Woo! As time flies, hope that I'm soaring, far from the boring, my God. Tell you why it's important. I'm not the boring, my God. If I think and act like you do, the world will die from not seeing something new. And if I don't speak on how I feel, the world will lose out on what's really real. And if I should die before I wake, I pray my music to take my place.
Now, I have to say some very reckless things tonight, and so I want to make it absolutely clear that I am talking for myself. I am not, I might be at other platforms and other occasions, more or less representing this or that organization or this or that committee, but tonight I am talking to you as Jimmy Baldwin, who was born in Harlem 39 years ago, who has a certain responsibility to the people that produced him. That is all of you. And I'm speaking to you, if I may say so, not as an organizer, and not as a Negro leader, and not as a public figure, not as any of those things, but as one of the poets that you produced. We have to I think the other reason, and perhaps the most important reason, that I'm throwing the suggestions out to you tonight is that in this country, every black man born in this country until this present moment is born into a country which assures him in as many ways as it can find that he is not worth the dirt he walks on. Every Negro boy and every Negro girl born in this country until this present moment undergoes the agony of trying to find in the body politic, in the body social, outside himself, herself, some image of himself or herself which is not demeaning. And if you doubt me, you check out your textbooks and Hollywood, to name only those two things. Now, many, indeed, have survived, and at an incalculable cost. And many more have perished, and are perishing every day. If you tell a child, and do your best to prove to the child that he is not worth life, it is entirely possible that sooner or later the child begins to believe it and acts on it. It is one of the reasons, if I may be rude, that in every ghetto in this country, Saturday night is a dangerous night among Negroes. If you think about the myths that American white people have created about American black people, you begin to have some notion of the weight black people have in white people's consciences. It was never true, for example, that I came here wanting to rape nobody, you know. And in fact, I very rarely carried a knife. And I know how to hold my liquor. But the myths to which one is subjected are the most terrifying symptom of the emotional and spiritual and sexual poverty and panic of the American people. If one is aware of this, then one recognizes, I think this is a most valuable suggestion, that it is not the Negro who is in jail. It is white people who are in jail. They let it out with each other because they're too intimidated by what we still refer to as the man. And what I am trying to suggest is that we have the power to force the country to change its image of us, and we can do this by proving to ourselves and to the country what we can do for ourselves. We don't need yet to become the president of General Motors. We simply need to call the country on the common disaster, and they cannot put 20 million people in jail. It was suggested by some of us, as forcefully as we knew how, that in order for the country to be unable to ignore and to forget the slaughter of 6 children in an American city, and in order to join the issue and bring the battle to where the battle really is, that is to say, to strike at the economic structure, that no one, black or white, should buy any presents for Christmas. I think that we should spell this out perhaps a little more precisely. I mean, and now I am speaking for myself, that in this Christian nation, Christmas is mainly, as indeed are most churches, a commercial endeavor, having nothing whatever to do with the birth or the death of Christ. That if one begins to serve notice, ultimately on the banks, that we, the citizens of this country, do not consider that we have the right to celebrate Christmas this year, and that furthermore, we will use every weapon in our power to force this on the attention of the American Republic, which unluckily, I have to say, has its conscience mainly in its pocketbook. I believe that we will begin to see some notion of our potential power.